Alright, test. Hey, here we go. We're live. It's been 4 months or so. There's a quote. Oh, I should have had it pulled up before. Um, we keep exploring, we keep going, and at the end of our exploring, we come back to the first place. Oh man, I'm absolutely ruining this quote right now. Should I have this pulled up before? But it's beautiful because this really encapsulates what has been happening again. There's my IG, whatever. But I posted it on here. Yes. We shall not cease from exploration, and at the end of all our exploring will be to arrive where we started and note the place for the first time. C.S. Eliot. So simple of a quote, and I just fucking lost my spaghetti there. It's about the fourth time here. How's the volume? Oh, it's a little up there. But bring it down. Oh yeah, we're getting in the weeds again with the details, the volume mixing. Hopefully that's good. Yeah. So I started doing this live streaming thing back in February again for the 10th time in a decade, on and off, on and off. Each time cultivating a little bit more confidence and discipline, a little bit more cheerfulness and joy. February was good, but then I immediately sank back into heavy topics, and I'll explain more about what I mean there and where I've been, where I am now. Today's stream, alright, I think this is still a little too loud, yeah? Alright, I was pulling it down a bit. Today's stream was inspired by just erupting in laughter. It didn't come out of nowhere, per se. It was a few things I've been considering, deliberating in the last 2 days. And then it just hit me while I was at the gym today. I was like, I really do take things way too seriously sometimes. And it derails me energetically, just attention-wise. It derails me. And what I mean by taking things too seriously, there are serious things going on in the world. Geopolitically, in everyday life, every person is dealing with a lot of shit. Here in my neighborhood, seeing people struggle. People in my community, people in my state, my country, and the world at large, whether dying from war, dying from starvation, dying from toxic chemicals, either injected, consumed, in the air. Oh, right now, my city is blanketed by the wildfire smoke from Canada. I'm gonna stick with Canada. There's serious things. And me being, I don't know, so empathetic, I'm an empath, whatever, just in touch with my emotions. It really moves me and stirs me to action. But each time I get into a frame that's heavy and dark and serious, because we're talking about very serious things here. And yet it stunts my action. It paralyzes me. It causes me to get into moods that ultimately aren't from a place of presence, of peace, of love. So I'm going to circle back and explain my process now, my mental process and these things. I just want to wrap up this thought. So I knew that I had to come back to a place of peace and love and presence. All we have is the day, all we have is this moment. But we should still, to a degree, strive to make a difference in the world. Not to try to save the world, not to carry the weight of the world on my shoulders, our shoulders. It's infeasible for each person to do that. We need to work collectively. And so I've been figuring that out while, of course, working through my own traumas and blocks and mindworms. Oh, there's so many. So many. And each time I felt like I defeated it, it was like, oh, no, there's a little remnant that just became alive, that just spawned of its own. It's like splitting the head of a hydra and another 2 heads pop up. Yeah, what a journey. I'm kind of going off, but welcome to my mind. I don't think I'm too far off. So, hello. I'm Bruce, aka Lavitz. I don't have any sort of introduction planned, and every time that I've attempted to do a live stream in the last year, I've started off just, oh, maybe I should give a backstory as to who I am and blah blah blah. I'll probably make a dedicated video if anyone actually cares. I've written a bit about it, a lot still unreleased. A Twitter user, VisaConf, author of Introspect, fan, and many great Twitter threads, if threads can be considered publications, which they are. He DM'd me one time and he said, as I was explaining my strategy and my thought process, I said, I need to have the world understand me before I can start taking action. And he's like, why? Like, why do you need to do that? Seems unnecessary. Just start doing the thing. And then I filled in the blank. I was like, yeah, and then, I could, if people were really curious, they could find out about me. Oh, I don't like the song right here. Actually, I'm going to remove that from the playlist. And so, yeah, I don't need to do any of that. I came on here to talk about seriousness and playful seriousness. But first, this image, which a friend posted this morning in the Starscape Guild Discord. Go back to yourself. Your feelings need you. Your body needs you. Acknowledge what has been and will be. Go back home and be there for yourself. This was before I went to the gym this morning, and before I started erupting in laughter at just the absurdity of life, the absurdity of me taking things seriously, and realizing, hold on. Oh, it didn't really get that much louder. Why is this? My Spotify volume is bugging right now. It's not going through here, but I can see it's going louder there. Alright. Things I need to work on after this, of course. Technical issues, hello. And so, again, playful seriousness. Let's back it up. The last stream that I did in February, I did 5 or 6. I ended up creating this, February 25th. At night. This was during the stream, I believe, and I was piecing this together with Notion. So my overall plan is to... I'm going to develop a Notion page as I stream. Maybe do some MS Painting, put it in here, and so I will have a page for each stream. I filled in some notes here of what I might talk about, just rough. I may not get to all of them, move them around, whatever. And so I did here. As I was thinking about VisaCon's Are You Serious article, my own exploration of seriousness with my music. Because last year, February 2022, I created a couple songs after creating some before and kind of wrapped up an album. And during this, it was an intense exploration and release of, for lack of a better word, trauma and these sorts of things, and really finding myself, really finding my confidence and my voice. There was some heavy, geopolitical... No, you don't know. I'm trying to eliminate the phrase "you know," because you don't know, that's why I'm telling you. As well as uhs and ums and these sorts of fillers. They're unnecessary. I really found my voice and found my confidence. And after that point, I started losing ton of weight. I lost, abolished, dissolved my fear of public speaking, whatever prevented me from looking into the camera and speaking confidently, as well as fear of heights, fear of the dark, fear of trying new foods. I am pretty diverse at that time, but still, getting over all these weird mental self-imposed blocks, restrictions. And because I did all that, following the music that I made with seriousness, I got confused as to what my purpose would be. There's a lot I'm omitting. There's a lot of what I would say mystical experiences, encounters, and these sorts of things that occurred, and so there were a lot of confusing signals as to what my purpose should be. I wanted to help, and I want to help, improve the world. I developed, for a little bit, a sort of savior complex. Here I am bobbing my head, talking about such a serious thing. It's because I've gone through it, and I've healed through these things. And I can talk about it with strength, and with confidence, yada yada. I went through a sort of savior complex. I went, wait, what if I release my music? I'm gonna get all this attention, so I need to like do this and do that. And I started strategizing at the same time of finding Zen, which I had been sort of exploring through archery and meditation for a few years. And I found this Zen, and I learned like my past doesn't matter, the future doesn't matter, it's all about the present moment, love and peace. But at the same time, I was strategizing. I need to do this. I need to, be wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. I need to calculate and scheme for good, for God, for love. But it's still this calculation, this strategizing. Ugh. At the time, I was inspired by figures like, might be controversial, but like Andrew Tate, very clear, effective communicator. I admired that about him. I admired the hard work he put into his physique, as well as a lot of other people. But his effective communication was so powerful that I was like, yeah, it's kind of true. There is a matrix. There is a, beautiful. There is a coordinated effort by executives of companies wanting to work together to, in their view, make the world a better place. And so it's really not conspiratorial to think that they would work together to not want to highlight and give power to opinions, to figures who have opinions that seem divisive and seem aggressive. And honestly, yeah, his rhetoric is aggressive. It's not hot. Well, it's very hot. It's not, agreeable. And I'm not saying we should go for agreeableness 100% in these sorts of things. Oh, hey! Hello, Fog Cloud Master, Raven. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. I was just saying that I'm getting back into streaming again, just to talk about thoughts, my journey, where I've been. Today's topic was on seriousness and playful seriousness, the and, or neither. Probably the and. Inspired by here. Going to go live later as a form of drafting videos and posts. I started doing this back in February and stopped. So I'm talking about that now. Seriousness versus playfulness. My journey, purpose, as well as memes, myths, magic, and miscellanea. Things that I've been working through. I've been working through a lot, and I'm now at the point where I feel confident to speak on these things. There's a few things I'm still working through. I'm writing that out, and I think it's going to turn into an ebook of sorts. But it's going to first come through streams and videos and blog posts. I think there's something there where I can condense it into a book of where I've been, how I've progressed physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. When I've had one-on-one... I did the thing again. I guess it's natural. I'm trying to work on eliminating that. When I've had multiple one-on-one conversations, I've had people say, yeah, that seems interesting. Thank you for sharing your testimony, your journey of where I've been, the hardships that I've gone through, understanding... Why did the music stop? Did I do that? No, I didn't. There we go. I've been told repeatedly there's value in sharing my journey. I've been like, no, I'm not that special, I'm privileged, blah, blah, blah. But no, it is. I don't want anything with lyrics right now. Can you not? Thanks. I have just the playlist, actually. Maybe this? Nope. I'm gonna do this for now. So I finally listened. I said, okay, I will share my testimony. Maybe it's part of my purpose to speak. I've been told that I have, oh, glad you're doing this again. Ah, thank you. Um, yeah, and not so much gaming. I haven't played a video game in a while, and I'm going to talk on that. Initially, it was take an extreme reaction against gaming, because I went, during the bad years, I played a lot of video games, I smoked a lot of weed, drank a lot of alcohol. Let me just not do any of that, because it's all evil, it's all bad, it's all associated with that. Well, I've been trying it back and forth, and it's not so black or white, it's not so extreme, there's a middle ground. However, I'm just not interested in gaming much anymore. I love talking, I love writing, I love working out, and doing these sorts of things. And so, my streaming henceforth will be what it'll be. I have ideas and plans. I just want to focus on here. Because this entire thing is about the present moment. It's about holding your peace and your joy in the present moment as best you can, despite the hard shit that's happening out in the world, which is affecting people. There are people starving and these sorts of things. I don't want to evoke the emotions and imagery right now. And I don't want to have a smile about it, per se, because it's terrible. But what I learned this morning, working at the gym, it's like, if I'm going to more effectively help and address the issues happening in the world, I kind of have to go at it with a smile. If I can face adversity with joy and love, and like truly love through it, that's going to be very empowering. And as a parallel thought to comedy being the most effective activism, if you think about it, and not for very long, it's like, yeah, kind of duh. If you can get people to laugh about dark shit, you help them heal personally, and it heals collectively. And when there's a little more optimism and joy toward a thing, you're able to find solutions better. And you're able to actually get off the couch and want to do something about it. If you can smile in the face of adversity, that is power. Especially, let me not go there. So, I've been going back and forth, spiraling, true Jungian individuation spiral, trying to come with grips about my music, and also just being like a teacher of presence, of doing my best. I'm repeating myself now. So, I wrote 4 months ago on my last stream, I was exploring seriousness and playfulness and playful seriousness. This comes after a very, very emotional, romantic, multi-month romantic encounter with this woman last year. It like really challenged me, and I was being too serious at times, and she even told me, stop being so serious. And I went, but this is serious. I wish I could go back now, because I get it. Finally, 14 months later, I get it. So, but then I explored, okay, again, serious things happening in the world. I have goals, and I want to be serious about them. So it's a nuance that I'm still working to explain. But let me back up, because I mostly agree with what I wrote. There are different ways to be serious, to express. There are different ways to perceive, judge, interpret, make sense of things. Then we get into the perception and that whole mess of things. What does it mean to be serious? What does it mean to be crazy? Or to be foolish? And which is good, bad, or both? There's good and bad. And both with each one. For the self, the frame we operate in is the frame we perceive and understand. Meaning, I could frame that we are living in apocalyptic times. The end is nigh. Jesus is coming soon. If I am operating in that frame, I'm perceiving the world as angelic versus demonic, a struggle. There are demons roaming the world, and these sorts of things. And if you operate in that frame and you believe in that, it evokes seriousness. Oh, comedy can definitely help you make peace with something, but I think it's important to recognize when to be serious. So, I think, and I wrote this today. Oh, I've been too serious. I'm gonna pause that. I want to have lighter music. Just a little bit lighter, maybe this. Angels can fly because they can take themselves lightly. Pride is the downward drag of all things into an easy solemnity. One settles down into a sort of selfish seriousness, but one has to rise to a gay self-forgetfulness. Oh, to a gay self-forgetfulness. Seriousness is not a virtue. For solemnity flows out of men naturally, but laughter is a leap. It is easy to be heavy, hard to be light. Satan fell by the force of gravity. And so I said, I went to a camp a week and a half ago. Beautiful. And while I was there, I had the thought, I should laugh more. And I started laughing, and I wrote it down. And then I had an encounter, but I digress. I'm still struggling with serious things are happening, and I need to do something about it. I must do something about it. Which has been partially leading me down a not so very good path, even with good intentions. And I realized, at some point, I stopped memeing. I still look at memes and laugh at memes, but I don't repost them. I'm not engaging with them because I had this I am developing an image of seriousness. And it's funny because I'm like, I don't need to develop an image, and yet I was doing it. I've been living in hypocrisy in kind of funny ways, a lot more lighthearted than before. And so someone said, only if you decide that you prefer a different amount of seriousness. To which I said, serious on focusing goals. Like, have serious goals. Want to make more money, want to find a partner and raise a family. These are serious goals. But to go about it playfully, especially on the romantic bit, yeah, there are times where you're helping each other through emotional wounds and it's serious and you don't want to just like sit there and laugh about it. You and I, I mishandled some things I've learned, but for the most part, 80% of the time, maybe 90, 95, be playful about it. I'm speaking last year, courting this one woman. It started off great, and I started getting serious about it in that, like, it's hard to describe. It was because of my focus on my music and these sorts of, I must rise to be a leader, and it kind of sounds ridiculous when I'm not giving it proper context. Kind of was ridiculous anyway. And so that just bled over, and that made me not step back from this and just go get the Amazon job over there. Go move closer to her and develop the relationship. I went, no, you know what? There's forces at play. I need to do my own thing, and I regret that. And it's, mistakes, blah, blah, blah. That's not a good song. Nope, that's not it either. Yeah, I need to have a playlist set up so I stop fucking with this. I think that's good. Now these are kind of weird songs. Yeah, and it's get me distracted. I need to find this playlist because it's set up. This is a good ass song though. Very on point too. Where is this? Where is this playlist? Oh, is that it? Yeah, this one's good enough. And it's still showing on here? Yeah. Working on this. Anyway, yeah, I'm going off. The point is, have serious goals, but be playful about them. Engage in it with lightheartedness. There's a lot to expound upon that. Okay. A little heavy trance there. And so, doing things in seriousness bleeds black. It's heavy. It sows discontent in yourself and others. Again, yes, there are moments to be serious, but they're fewer. They number fewer than times to be playful and joyful and present and at peace. So, I have a model. I haven't actually drawn it, but I wanted to kind of do it here. Peace, love. Oh, nice. Peace, love, joy, equanimity. This is my base. Whenever I wanted to two-line it. Whenever I go off to work on a goal, to strategize something, to engage in a creative activity, to talk to someone, to do anything, as often as I can, I bring myself back to this. Am I at peace? Do I have a smile on my face about it? Am I doing this out of love and joy and equanimity? Sometimes I'm too tired to do that. Okay, I need to go nap. Or I need to go meditate. Cool. Other times, it's like I have this, just this ugly, hyper-masculine determination, this aggressive determination it's sort of operating out of love, but it's definitely not peace. It's definitely not the present moment, which is really all about the present moment. The eternity is here. Eternity is this. This is eternity. This is all we have. Step by step, as long as you keep up, you'll never slip away. Always do things out of the present moment, which has been very tricky with relationship struggles. I don't know why I struggle to think of that word. Basically, relationship struggles with encountering homeless people on the street who are genuinely suffering. I've had conversations with them. A lot of it is genuine. They got knocked off their feet. They're trying their best to get back. Some of them really aren't. They're content with the way things are. They, especially ones that I met in DC, they are at the point where they just want to be taken care of. And I don't hate them. I understand. I think more could be done for them in inspiring them to want to change and giving them the tools and the resources and re-education to get them back in society. But of course, it's a massive issue with the emergence of AI taking over more jobs and more jobs, with supply chain crunches, with our food seemingly getting worse in quality and nutrition, let alone it even getting dispersed. There's serious things happening. But if I sink into it, I'm not able to help. I'm not able to help if I really sink into it. And if I sink into it, sometimes it erupts in this fire, like 2 Januaries ago, in an explosive, why can't something be done about this? I need to do something about it. And that doesn't lead to good places. That's kind of the road to hell is paved with good intentions. When the intention isn't so good, it has to be made out of peace and love. And I'm being still very vague and general about this, and something I want to expand in my ebook. Even that phrase, in my ebook, check it out, please buy it. Something I'll get over. Gotta play the game, do the marketing things, sell the things. Anyway, I digress. Playful seriousness. And so there was, here, what do I want to do with this? There was, do I want to talk about music and job? Oh, so there was August. There was a thing about choosing my vocation last year, going back and forth, when I struggled with, case in point, taking things too seriously. With a flare of delusion, for lack of a better word. Too much engagement with magical thinking and synchronicity, and assigning meaning to synchronicity when that's not our place to. That's a whole thing. That's a whole chapter in of itself. Synchronicity, coincidences, and us assigning meaning to it. This is, here we go. Synchronicity. And our interpretation. Oh, I can't do arrow with this font. Ooh, I don't like that. Oh, it must not be my path. Alright, interview struggles. 100x application. So, I am still every day trying to figure out, it's probably excessive at this point, every day trying to figure out what is my path, what is my purpose. I really need to write because there's a lot of context missing. Out of context, to be brief, I went through 100 applications and many interviews of those. Some multi-stage interviews throughout June, July, August, September. That went nowhere. There was one I went 5 stages. It was beautiful. It was perfect. And then I was told, oh, yeah, we had another recruiter and they just went with him before we finalized with you. And so sorry, shit happens. I was struggling so much to get basic job that I was overqualified for that I went, okay, God, maybe not technology. I'm not going to code anymore. That was my old life, right? Video games, smoking, drinking, technology. I'm done with it. Kind of a mistake, but kind of led into something beautiful. I went to work at Renaissance Fair for a whole season, 9 weeks. Pretty cool. I went to work for a local restaurant, helping I don't want to say foreign family, but Argentinian family, empanadas. Great. I met my new best friend there and a couple other great friends through him. 5, 6, beautiful. Taught me sales, taught me how to speak with authority, with more articulation, and these sorts of soft skills. Beautiful time. Making low money, but I didn't mind. I felt like it was a humbling experience. Like, okay, Lord, I'm gonna make less money than I've ever made as a privileged software engineer. Humble me, thank you. I'll live off low income and these sorts of things. Ren Fair was great. I thought I wanted to make it my full-time thing. Oh, I'll work different Ren Fairs across the country. I'll travel circuit. I made a lot of friends there, had a great time. By the 8th and ninth weekend, I went, okay, great experience. I don't want to do this all year round. I found I love talking to people. I am good at sales. I have this natural charisma, especially in the last year of transformation. I don't know if you notice just how I'm carrying myself, how I'm articulating, if it's any different than when you've known me. I feel so fucking good. And it was a lot of it due to the Ren Fair experience and working the restaurant. And just truly being humbled. I've spent a lot of my days just talking, 4 hours talking to a homeless person, and it's actually them doing most of the talking, because I don't know, it was just random chance encounter, and like, okay, maybe they need to get something off their chest, maybe they just need an ear, a friend, and I provided that with nothing, no benefit, and that's fine, cool, great. These sorts of things humbled me and led into beautiful insights later on, indirectly, which was cool. But I did keep confusing what my purpose would be. So, I lost a lot of weight. I look really good. I speak pretty clearly and coherently. I've been encouraged by a lot of people to make videos, make podcasts, talk, and do things. Especially when I erupt in passion geopolitically and these sorts of issues, I get going. And people... I had just a few weeks ago, my friends, I realized I had been ranting for 10 minutes, even though this is a while now. Where's the time? 39 minutes. So I can just do this. They just sat there and then said, wow, you should, I like the sound of your voice. You should do a podcast. You have great ideas. You have such a passion that is contagious. Courage is contagious. And so I had this tweet the other day. Courage is contagious. And I have a courage band here. I went, okay, my purpose. Because when I asked a friend, I said, what do you see in me? He said immediately, he said courage. He said courage wearing cloaks and capes. Courage of always challenging my own opinions and trying to do better. Courage to help others above, below me, blah, blah, blah. I don't like the comparison ladder. But that was what was said. And it was just another indication that I should be doing something interfacing with people. I'm also really good at processing a lot of information, synthesizing it, extracting the essence, and coming to a conclusion. Though, when I'm distanced from that, days or weeks, it's hard for me to then pull out the source of what I'm referring to. Like when I tried to film a podcast 2 nights ago, I was talking about something, and someone said, oh, do you have a source for that? And I went, damn, I can't even... Like, it was just a few months ago. Can't remember. So 1, save my sources. Have them readily available. But 2, there's still something there. And it's also... I'm also in the middle of my Saturn return in the 10th house. 10th house of publicity, career, being seen publicly, and like navigating vocationally with an audience of sorts. There's a few different meanings, but for me, that's what resonated. Especially going through the individuation, finding my voice, finding my strength, finding my passion, and finding peace, all at the same time. But again, it's been tricky. And so, I need to do more of these streams. I need to write more, do videos, and see where it goes. But there was a modicum of overcorrecting, and I wrote this. Individuation, overcorrection. Is this music still too loud? Seems a little loud. Yeah, why am I not memeing like I used to? What really is my purpose? Saturn return 10th house. I'll return to that. But individuation, overcorrection, which I alluded to already. I resolved... I let go of all my regrets and mistakes and traumas in my past. No, it's soft on my end? Cool. I kind of went, like, real fast over the Ren Fair thing. I'm also just, like, bullet speed talking. I'm not really giving you a lot to, I'm not really conversing with you. And it's because I came on here kind of just wanting to monologue and say some things. But I definitely want to have more of a conversation and a chat with my viewers. I was expecting more viewers to come in. You're good, do you? Cool. I hope you're doing well. Like, I thought of you the other day. And for one, I keep getting notifications. You just did 100th-day Duolingo streak. Right on. This is good shit. But yeah, I hope you're doing well. Um, I saw a few stories too. You and I don't know, some like spy museum, some thing. It looked fun. Been grinding? Hell yeah. Gonna skip that. Individuation over correction. So I alluded to this when I went. Okay, video games were in my bad years, so I'm not gonna do that. In fact, I'm gonna do the exact opposite of everything I was doing. So there are times to make substantial changes in your life, but for the most part, things should be done. Things should be done incrementally. Sometimes drastic changes, yeah, they're destabilizing, in good ways sometimes, bad ways other ways. So I took such a 180, and I went, okay, I'm gonna do my music. I'm going to do this and that, and I started doing some of it. Some of it was pretty great, pretty dope. Um, but I realized, video games aren't inherently evil. Sure, they do take a lot of time and energy away from people who could otherwise spend those hours volunteering at a local nonprofit organization, for example. And for me, just having notebooks of ideas, game ideas, app ideas, etc., just books I want to read. Oh my goodness, there's 2 stacks right there. I've been getting through them finally, thanks to not playing games. But I've spent close to, if not more, than 100,000 hours of gaming in my life. They say you're an expert if you've done 10,000 hours in one thing. I'm a 10x expert. So yeah, maybe I should be doing game development, game design. At least talking about these sorts of things. Web3 games being developed on various blockchains. I could do games journalism, because that's communication. It's very much my Gemini ascendant. Like, I am just... So maybe I do games journalism with Web3. I'm going to pause, because this is where I went too serious. This is an example of me going too serious with of having kind of a bad frame with the prophecies and doomsday type things. Yes, there is a lot of weird shit happening in the world. A lot of it kind of is just narrative driven. The Ukraine war, is it going to turn into a nuclear holocaust? Very serious subject, yes. But how much of it is really on grounds to be concerned about or to even be affected by? This is where peace, love, joy, equanimity. It's hard sometimes when faced with these questions to maintain peace, love, joy, equanimity in the present moment. But it also isn't. It seemed wrong, though, to do that. Because, life and what if we die? So I think a lot of it was fear of dying or fear of things happening. I am of the firm belief, knowing, modus operandi, you should never have fear about anything ever. It's debilitating. Most of the time it's unfounded. Doesn't come true. While we are facing nuclear holocaust, overpopulation, so they say, and these sorts of things, you can do something about it, but do it sort of playfully, optimistically, not out of fear, because you just end up making stupid mistakes. You're not really listening to your intuition when you're caught up in the fear and the aggression and these sorts of things. You always have to be at peace, so you can listen to spirit, you can listen to the intuition, you can be guided. And if these things end up not happening, you're going to be grateful that you enjoyed every single present moment up until then. And if the things happen and we do die, at least you enjoyed every single moment up until then. And that is where one of the ways I started to take things poorly is last year I was like, okay, yeah, games journalism, Web3. Why does this matter if we're all about to die? I literally like spun in these questions for a while. I'm Hollywood Max Museum in Myrtle Beach. I've been reading more again too. Hell yeah. What you reading? I'm curious. And so I kept backing away from games journalism, video gaming in general. I kept backing away from technology. I struggle with applications. It's not just because, you know, these aren't the right jobs. It's because this whole field is wrong and I need to go develop social skills. Which, again, I'm glad I did. I'm glad I went to Ren Fair and worked at this local restaurant. I wouldn't have met my new best friends. I wouldn't have gotten the experience that I did. My manager at Ren Fair, I'll talk a little bit more about it. I went to work for Modern Viking Beard Company. Yeah, I was totally qualified. There was a point where a couple of weeks in, they got me a fake beard and I put it on, and I put it on. I was like, yeah, fuck it, like being on the joke. I started to grow a little bit of it. It wasn't much, but I still did well. They had body butters and lip balms and sort of feminine products, and I mostly manned that table and did very well. Good with the ladies, eh? But also very good with men and joking and joshing with these guys. My manager said at the end of the season he saw a profound change in me. He's like, oh man, you started the season, you were just this little Bruce, like quiet and reserved, and here you are in the last week picking like jokes and fights with us and doing really well selling things. So I'm glad that happened. So this is the odd thing that I spent the last 6 months reflecting on that and going, but did I interpret the synchronicities correctly? Because it led into something nice. It also led into something terrible. Losing who I believe would have been my, not soulmate per se, I mean the feeling was there, but really strong romantic partner. I could see myself living with her the rest of my life. My seriousness stunk, and it turned her off. She said that, she said multiple times, you're too serious. And maybe there's a problem with her also needing to resolve some things. And yes, some seriousness is good, but I think it was mostly me, and I'll take that. And I have taken that, and it's cool, and I'm moving on from it. So this is what's been weird is me not wanting to do the tech path led into more of my evolution. And here I am. I'm very proud of me speaking with very few stutters and filler words. Very few uhs, ums, likes. I love it. So good. I also started doing Taekwondo, martial arts. My new favorite thing. I went tonight. I went last night. I am loving it. Going to the gym most days. Anyway, I digress. I am just fucking feeling it. But I don't know if these things would have happened if I went to go work at that Amazon job. They might have. Not going to play the what if game. It is still dangerous to assign meaning to synchronicities, coincidences, what have you. When you do tarot, I Ching, runes, you look into astrology, you do have to be careful. But at the same time, whatever resonates is probably what is meant for you, because it is your subconscious projecting the current frame onto the situation and seeing it from a different perspective to allow you to go through that, grow from that, and onward. And so it's tricky, and I want to write a great deal about it. Every time I talk about it one-on-one or small group setting, I'm encouraged to continue doing that. So with this whole Saturn in my 10th house, what should I be doing? I have been going back and forth. I think where I'm at now is continue to progress with my small part-time job that's really part-time, like very low part-time, sadly. I wish there was more work. Continue to grow my brand with Starscape, the Guild, the Digital, the Sauces, the Sears, the sounds, Starscape, all of that, and the world, the game. Ooh, that's my magnum opus. If I do live 10 plus years from now, I'm going to create a Tolkien-esque Lord of the Rings, just my own epic fantasy. Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, and just something I've been sitting on for 12 years. All I want to do is this, but I think I have to do this other stuff first. Sort of like Goethe, when he wrote Faust over his lifetime. And he worked as a politician, uh, and these other sorts of jobs, and then released Faust toward the end of his life that he'd been working on. Although the first third probably could have been released separately, and then he worked on part two later. Digress. There's a lot of similarities with me and Goethe, and me and others, and that was another dangerous pitfall. Is I saw a lot of similarities. I started resonating with a lot of people in the past. I don't know if I should start naming them without context. And considering the idea of reincarnation, or at least spirits guiding me to do things, it's been a very tricky year and a half. Working through these mind worms, understanding, like, alright, am I spiritually influenced? Are there demonic forces on me? Have I been cursed and hexed by this one girl? Like, this is tricky stuff. And I'm kind of just, like, flinging it out there with, I don't know who's listening. I know you're listening, but if people were to watch the recording, these sorts of topics are considered insane by a lot of people. But I speak with them with... there's a lot there. I take a drink of water. It was 54 minutes, 55 minutes of talking. Oh, I want to have a discussion with you. I think fear is natural, though, and can be a motivator. Yes. I have a thing on fear. In fact, I think fear is natural, though, and can be a motivator. Definitely don't want to wallow in it, though. Mindfulness is key. Realistic fiction, though I recently got some nature/botany books. Cool, right on. While I'm interested in a whole lot of things, every topic imaginable, that's not true, because I love nature. I'm just not interested in getting into botany. Got friends who are. It's cool. It would be cool to, like, go outside and identify some wild plants that I can eat and can't eat. But that's cool. Right on. Realistic fiction. It's kind of the thing. Yeah, I would say I'm working on realistic fiction. But yes, fear is natural, though, and can be a motivator. Yeah, it's natural. A lot of the times it doesn't serve us. A lot of the times it's really stupid. But other times it's fantastic. It can be more of a... Sometimes it's more just caution. Hey, you probably shouldn't do this, it's dangerous. And there's fear of, oh, this doesn't resonate with me, I shouldn't engage in it, because it's either a waste of time and energy, or it could lead to something not good. Other times, like fear of public speaking, it's a challenge for you to lean into it. There's something good on the other side of that fear if you just have the courage to lean into it. Last year I started leaning into that, specifically. Fear of public speaking. What if I got on Zoom calls with 50 people and turned my camera on? Oh, camera on? What? What if I started asking questions and speaking? These were big deals for me. And yeah, I started doing it, and good things happened when I leaned into my fears. I've been leaning into every fear, but I feel like I no longer have fears. And then a new fear will pop up, but it's very small. And I go, let's do it. Let's face it. Like, and it's so good. I have no fear of death. Oh, yeah. That's where I wanted to go. Someone asked me a few weeks ago, do you think all fear stems from the fear of death? It's possible that it could be the fear of suffering. Suffering is arguably worse than death. Some suffering. A lot of suffering. Oh, where'd the music go? That's right, I paused it. That's a banger. But I'm gonna skip that. There we go. A lot, if not most, suffering is self-imposed. Pain is real. Pain happens. But to continue to dwell on it, like fear, or anything emotional, that's self-imposed. But anyways, does all fear stem from fear of death? I think so. Because all of my fears, every fear from heights, I used to tremble going next to balconies at apartment buildings. Couldn't do it. I had this overwhelming, nonsensical fear that I would just jump off or fall off. But this jumping off, it's called the high place phenomenon, plagued me. As well as fear of the dark. Silly. It's dark. Outside dark, different story than like in your house dark. In your house dark, dumb. Stupid. As well as fear of public speaking. All of these fears dissolved when I stopped being afraid of dying. No more fear of death. Present moment, I'm going to live every single day to the best of my ability. Just full presence, joy, love. Showing love to myself, love to other people. Every single day. There's not a day that I regret. There are some days that I have lower energy and don't do the things that I want to do. Fine. Rest is necessary. I have no fear of death. Now I have no fear at all, period. And when it pops up, I face it and it's gone. It's beautiful. I'm not here to brag. These are things that I want to discuss and help others through. Understanding enlightenment. Lightening oneself. I wrote this thing. Spirituality to me is a personalized process of rituals, mantras, and symbols to enlighten oneself mentally and emotionally and help others directly and indirectly to do the same toward a more harmonious and heavenly world. Spirituality gets a lot of bad rap. There's a lot of bad things being spread, especially on the notions of angels and demons. These are very destabilizing things. And then you bring in, conspiracies about who the overlords of the world are, and these are destabilizing things, and it's not good that they're being spread around without proper guidance. People to look up to, of they've gone through this, they've managed to figure it out, allegedly, and I can trust them. This is something and someone that I know that I should be leaning into. And very 10th house, Saturn return, very much my own personal experience. Going through the shit myself. You're able to help people with something that you've struggled with. These are things I've struggled with. Probably should lean into it. It's very challenging in the environment, the social environment we operate in. Very materialist, dogmatic views, and especially the religious extremism. These are monumental to a lot of people. Challenges to face. I'm not afraid of death. I don't care about my image, my reputation, being canceled. Any of these things. Doesn't fucking matter to me. As far as I'm concerned, don't care about my name. Don't care about my legacy. Because I operate from truth. Truth is authority. Truth is love. Love is truth. I operate from love and peace and joy and truth. And I will tell the truth even if it leads to my death. And it's these sorts of vows that I took last year that has wrought certain challenges to allow me to, one, verify that I really fucking mean what I say, and two, to understand different ways of how this applies. This is what I'm leaning into. And so this is where I start teetering on the edge of being too serious. Because if I take it seriously, like this is what I have to fucking do, that's when I start to fall apart. That's when energy goes bad. That's when I start saying dumb shit. That's when it leans into it starts to overlap with a power hungry, megalomaniac, narcissistic type of person. And I don't want that as a leader. So, this is good. I operate what what started this transformation, individuation was don't be in service of dark powers, please, thanks. What started this was, well, a few things. One, it was just wanting to get over my own fucking depression and anxiety and like, why do I want to kill myself? It's stupid. Okay, let me be careful. This is where things when I say it's stupid, I meant there is so much positivity in the world. Yes, there's so much negativity. And the things we feel are heavy. They hurt. They feel monumental. I'm going to talk with context and with sincerity about that topic at another time. Just, I want to be very careful about talking these things. The point is, I wanted to get over my own issues because I knew there's more to life and more my potential to reach. Whether it's just my game and app ideas that are stuffed in these notebooks, or it's maybe doing something about the pain in the world. I thought, what kind of leader do I want? Because the last several presidents, all the Congress people, virtually, just all the world leaders stink. They want power. They want money. They're doing under-the-table deals. They don't inspire confidence. They don't inspire me wanting to emulate them in their behavior. They just stink. Type of person I want is kind of like a Socratean philosopher king. The kind of person I want is someone who just exudes love and peace and compassion and is courageous. I see that in some people today. One presidential candidate now, one last election. They inspire. But with the quote, be the change you want to see in the world and these sorts of things, I resolved whether or not I'm going to be a leader at all, because again, I don't want a leader. I don't want to be a leader. And it's funny because the type of leader I want for me is someone who doesn't want to be a leader. And I resonate with that very much so. Anyone who wants power is going to get corrupted by it. Just flat out, ultimately. Anytime you have power over people, you get corrupted. There's virtually no escaping it. So I don't want to do that. And the type of person that would be best to do that also doesn't want that. So it's kind of tricky. There's a tweet the other day. We should bring back begging people to be a leader. I don't know if I can find that in my... I'm not gonna try. And so, yes, I'm aligning myself with values of the type of leader I want to see in the world. I certainly have a lot of those qualities, but what I don't have is education on law and political science and these sorts of things. A lot of it is kind of like maybe filler, maybe bullshit, but I'm definitely not qualified to do any of that, and I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to do local, I don't want to do state, I don't want to do federal, I don't want to be a fucking leader. I have a lot of creative energy, and I think I do channel that into music, into art, into things that, similar to Vonnegut and other artists, inspire the general energy among the collective toward hope and optimism, and things can be better, because it's going to be a collective effort. I want to inspire each person, each little drop in the ocean to start to work together to create a collective tsunami of change and effort. And I think there is something there where I build a platform. There's a lot of details there. I'm having a few meetings this week with some people about the groundwork for that. So there are things I can do. But at the same time, yeah, I want to be the change I want to see in the world. If I can inspire the next generation of leaders that will actually take charge, hell yeah. And that's what I want to do. Someone told me last year, as I was deliberating, I was like, I can just be like a volunteer, just lay low, live small, just volunteer here and there. And he said to me, he's like, what has more value? You being a volunteer, or you creating 100 volunteers? You organizing and leading and inspiring 1,000 volunteers? I went, shit, man. Can't argue with that. That is probably what I need to do too, given my tech skills, my visionary thinking, the way that people say that I inspire them. They're like, oh, you're so courageous. Like, this isn't to like inflate me. It's fucking weird to even think about it and talk about it. I wrote them down. I refer to them sometimes as kind of like self-empowerment, but I'm just operating from what I perceive to be God directing me to do more. Anyway, I digress. Point is, doesn't matter my plans or schemes or visions or dreams, as long as I'm in the present moment and I let the future unfold as it will through honest, earnest, high vibration, everything's going to work out. I don't have to try to scheme and plan anything. He, she, it, the energy, the universe, whatever you want to call it, I believe in fully. They're far smarter, more imaginative, more powerful than me. I like the quote, I like the exchange, I think, was it in Corinthians? Hebrews? No. Like, oh, Lord, like, we did all these great works in your name, we prophesied in your name, we donated to charity, all for you. God said, I spew you from my mouth. I never knew you. You don't have to do good works for me in my name. I'm more powerful beyond comprehension. I'm going to... Everything is taken care of. You just live your life. You enjoy your life. You be present. You love yourself. You love those around you. Everything will work out. Just as long as you operate through love, not fear, not power, not control, not scheming. Love. Everything works out. Well, I just kind of went all over the place there. There's an essence there that hopefully you got. It's all about love. Joy, peace, water, clean food, clean air. Nice cold water sometime. Gotta drop off. Have a good night. Peace. I did rant and ramble there. But yeah, have a good night. I mean, this stream is just me monologuing. That was the intention. Future streams, I will have more of a chat, dialogue. I just wanted to get this going. Feels good. Finally. Gotta stretch, dance a bit. So yeah, playful seriousness. Did I accomplish much with this? Yeah, maybe. I'm certainly good to get the thoughts out. Always good to practice. Just keep practicing. I'm very proud of me speaking into the camera, like staring into the camera lens and speaking with very few stutters and fillers. Ooh, good practice. I might be able to clip some of this. Put it on my TikTok, perhaps. When I say that, it just makes me feel so ridiculous. Oh yeah, on my TikTok, on my YouTube. Why I don't know. The whole thing is so silly. I do kind of need to participate in it. There is money to be made. I don't want to sell out. I don't want to do ads and these sorts of things. I want to sell the shit that I make. My cloaks, my jewelry, my friends' stuff. So I shall play the game. There were many times 5+ years ago I thought to do drop shipping. Every meme that came out, I was like, I could easily make t-shirts and mugs and bullshit. And I was too serious about it. Again, we're talking about seriousness tonight. And that was one thing. I think I talked about most of all of this stuff. I didn't really talk about that too much, but that's fine. Cool. Level 82 magic on RuneScape. Let's just take a moment. I've been live for an hour 15. You feel that? You feel the energy? An hour of just straight talking. I'm pretty proud of myself. This is all new shit. And that's the thing, like, new people encountering me. I'm like a year old at any of this. I'm a year and a half old of just being happy. I'm a year old and talking to people, sharing my opinions with confidence. Not that they're better than other people's. No, it's just everyone deserves and should speak their mind. Free speech. And sometimes you have to say stupid shit. Sometimes you have to make mistakes to learn, to know what's better, to know what you like, to know what you don't like. Just taking a moment to give my vocal cords a rest, but also to just feel the music, feel the energy within. If I have any viewers, there is a little spiritual science, students of spiritual science kind of symposium. Wow, what a mouthful. Quadruple S. Students of Spiritual Science Symposium. Coming up on July 22nd, 23rd. It is an online event, 2-day. Oh. Man, there is something messed up with this website. Yeah. So you can register for free. It's gonna be great. I know, what a sell. Did I really sell it? Yeah? No. Yeah, maybe this is the time where I end the stream. There's so many topics I could talk about. I've been kind of going at it. This for me was really beginning to build momentum. I'm very proud of this stream. It's not much, but it's something. I'm restarting my 100 streams. I did 4 or 5 back then, but here's stream number 1. Don't tell me true love is impossible. And so, future streams, I may rap. Future streams, I may develop apps. Future streams, maybe a little wild, or maybe more of this. I have a lot to talk about, a lot to share. A lot of good I want to do for the world. Not as a savior. No. Just as a citizen. Have a good night, y'all. See you soon.